Evening all, how are we? Just been setting up the shot of the video, looking in the background, and it does look a little bit sort of like, what should we say, higgledy-piggledy. I've got to start, I think, to get some pictures up there to give it more of a sort of like a YouTube video type feel instead of me just dumped in the middle of my shed. It might not look like, it might look like a little bit chaotic behind me, but like any, decent bloke, we know where everything is and each shelf has a meaning. Let's just put it that way. My name's James Smith and I run channel JR74. Please like, comment, subscribe to your heart's content. And this week's video is all about the GSP, the Global Shipping Program. This is basically eBay's program of how they sell all over the world and not just in the country in which you are based. It's important, and I think it's growing in importance. And I would say that eBay are probably working really, really hard to get the relative cost of international shipping down to as low as possible, to basically widen the appeal of anything that you sell. That's really, really important to them. Whenever you list anything, you will see that there is a turn-on slider for the Global Shipping Program, whether you want it to be on or off. If you have it on, then the product that you are putting onto eBay will be able to be seen all over the world. My very strong advice to you is to always have it turned on, no matter what you are selling. If you think about it, there's 22 million active eBay accounts in the UK, where I am based, but worldwide there's 130 million. So the 22 million, top of my head, so we're talking 13 million for 10%, 26 million for 20. So it's probably about 18% of all eBay accounts are based in the UK. I should think America make up a bigger proportion, but really it's growing. There is space for eBay to grow, definitely, across the planet. I was actually quite surprised when I looked at the figures for this. I was expecting the UK to be less of a worldwide player in the eBay juggernaut, but no, we're pretty much up there. We're probably, oh God, I've got to do my research, haven't I? But I would stick a punt out. It probably goes USA, UK for eBay accounts. I might be wrong, who knows? So why am I doing this video? Basically, it's to help you, to educate, to let you know about my experiences with the Global Shipping Program. And there's been quite a few, surprisingly quite a few. And also to show you a product that I think is going to be most likely sold on the Global Shipping Program. So I also want to talk about the sort of products that mainly go on the Global Shipping Program. Basically, it's split into the, let me think about how I'm going to say it, the journey. So when somebody from another country buys one of the things that you've put onto your eBay store, the journey of that product from your house to the buyer in another country is done in 2 stages. The first stage will be a stage that you are responsible for in terms of if the product gets damaged as you are sending it. That journey is from your residence to a warehouse in Britain that is basically the GSP warehouse, the Global Shipping Program warehouse. And whenever I send anything global shipping, it always goes to a warehouse in Staffordshire. Now, if you think Staffordshire is quite centrally located, it's near an airport. I should think East Midlands Airport isn't that far away from it. It's near ports as well. You've got Liverpool one side, you've got Hull the other side, with good transport links across. So yeah, it's pretty good for its location, and because it's central, basically all parts of the UK can get to it quite easily. Now, any journey from your door to this warehouse is your responsibility. Okay, so if anything does get smashed or anything like that or damaged, then you can contact your carrier. In my case, it would normally be Royal Mail, and say, well, product was damaged. Okay, now why am I telling you this? Because you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, that's normal. When it gets to the global shipping warehouse and then eBay take it on, they are then responsible for it. So if the product is damaged in transit for, say, like if your buyer's in America and it gets damaged being taken over to America, eBay are then responsible for any damage. And I had some crockery that I tried to sell to a local antiques dealer, and he was telling me, no, don't sell it to me, put it onto eBay, because then you've got the worldwide market. If you sell it to me, I'm going to put it onto eBay. So he said that normally they're pretty good. If there's any sort of like problem or anything like that, contact them, and they usually pay up pretty quickly, because, you know, if something arrives smashed from their journey, so it arrives in another country in pieces, it's pretty likely that it happened in transit after the product arrived at the warehouse, and they'll just pay up. So, you know, there is peace of mind there as well, because the longer distance the parcel has to travel, the less confident that you might be in anything getting there in one piece, especially if you're selling anything breakable. Okay, so that is how the whole situation works. Every country where eBay actually operates will have a central warehouse which is linked by the GSP program. In terms of the costings, the global shipping program does cost a bit to use. You will add your normal postage on, okay, and that covers the postage from your door to the warehouse. However, the eBay postage fee is added on, and the buyer will see that. Usually it is between, depends on the product, depends on the size of the product, depends on the weight of the product, depends on what you're selling as well. But usually the buyer will be paying an extra 15 to 20 pounds to have the product on the global shipping program. So if it's something that you're selling that's not really that high in price, the likelihood is that it's not going to be bought from somebody from another country, and the product will stay within the shores in which you reside. So what sort of products have I sold on the global shipping program? I will be honest, I never really intend to attract the worldwide audience, but there are certain products that do that. And to be honest, I'm becoming more and more aware now of the sort of products that can actually get the attention of potential worldwide buyers. First one is trainers. If you've got a pair of basic trainers, what I mean by that is just a normal pair of generic Adidas, say a pair of Adidas Superstar or something like that, chances are they're going to be sold within the country that you reside. But if you've got something like a limited edition pair of trainers, or an elite sort of like high-end pair of trainers, then the chances are that it will be sold on the global market. I'll give you an example of a pair of Puma Mostros that I had recently. Now, this is sort of like I suppose the Puma Mostro is if you can imagine the sort of shoes that racing drivers wear. It's that, so it was called a driving shoe. So from the initial research that I did on this, I Google lensed it, and on eBay itself, it was coming up as like 60, 70 pounds. So I knew that I was on to something with this trainer. And yeah, it ended up going to Germany. So yeah, I was really, really pleased with that. Also recently, I had a pair of Nike Run Division sort of like running trousers that were in like a shell suity type material. Again, quite a rare product It wasn't just your normal pair of generic Nike jogging bottoms, and these went to France. I always remember one time, like, just when I first started doing this, I had a pair of Adidas Aero Ready white shorts, and they ended up going to California. Somebody must have really wanted this particular pair of white shorts. So yeah, that was quite surprising. Also as well, kitchen utensils, cookery equipment, that usually goes. I can remember I had a Le Creuset pot that went on to continental Europe as well. It's the big names, the big worldwide names that obviously do well on the global shipping program because everybody's aware of them. I did make a list. Yeah, trainers, clothing, cookware. Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that sells. That's the sort of thing that I've been selling on the global shipping program. And also eBay are very, very good at keeping you up to date on whereabouts your product is. They will send you regular updates as to whereabouts the location of your product is as you are sending it, and when it sort of like reaches distribution centers along the way of its journey. Oh yeah, I did as well. It was a sealed puzzle of the workers on the, you know, there's that famous picture of the workers working on the Empire State Building and they're all having their lunch on a steel girder. Well, there was a sealed puzzle of this that I picked up in the UK for about £4, and I sold it to Canada for 25, and they paid the GSP on top of that. So I should think that was the equivalent of about 35. They wanted it as a present for their friend. So yeah, I sent it and they got it in time. I think they said the friend's birthday was in 2 weeks, and I had nothing, no complaints, no feedback saying that it hadn't got there in time. So I'm making the assumption that within those 2 weeks that parcel got there. Normally it's a week to 10 days. So then what is it then? That's the example of what I have actually got to put onto eBay that I think is going to go on the global shipping program. Obviously I can't predict, okay, but I think it will. I'm about 51-49 thinking it will. But they are a nice pair of DAHU, DAHU ski boots. Okay, really nice. You've got the Velcro at the top there. You've got the 2 buckles. Okay, it looks like you've got a little bit of movement there in the boot itself along the top. You don't normally see that in a ski boot. It is a DAHU Ecourse 01/Pro/W110. Ecourse, I hope I'm saying that right, is spelled ECORCE. If you actually have a look at that, there you go. All right. Yeah, UK size 5.5. Okay, US, I wish they had the same sizes all over the world, but they don't. US size 7.5 and EU continental size 40. Okay, there's a nice design that's gone into these though. Look, you've got 2 carry handles. You've got one at the back, one at the front, so you can choose which way you pick it up from. And the padding looks really nice and is in really, really good condition. Okay, so yeah, this is the other one. There we go. Okay, what's this? It's got a bit of whatever that is. I don't know. It's part of it. But yeah, there's the other side as well, in exactly the same. Okay, if I was to put that there, okay, can you see there? It's exactly the same. And you know, for the size, I did see on the back it said 25.5, and I thought, that must mean something, and it did. I researched that. You even get a little book with it too. Okay, so yeah, really and truly a nice product, and one that I have boxes for that I can package up and quite easily send to the distribution centre and send it on its merry way. Now, I've said in previous videos that if things in shops are overpriced, or not overpriced isn't the right word, highly priced. I mean, in a charity shop, £25, you're looking at, you know, that's quite a high price. But don't dismiss it. All right, research it, have a look. Is that the right price? Could there be any more in it? And I did that, and there's one that I found saying that these boots were worth £300. Now, I don't believe that, okay? I don't think I will get that, even though they are brand new boots, and you can see they're brand new boots. They're not in a shop. Somebody going onto eBay is not looking to pay £300 for something like this. If they wanted to do that, they would go to a shop. They're going onto eBay to try and bag themselves a bargain, maybe looking at maybe last year's products being sold off cheaper, those that weren't sold in the shops. That's the sort of thing they're looking for. So that's the sort of mentality that you've got to think about in terms of how or what the buyer is thinking. Now, it's very, very difficult for me to put the right price on it, but to me, this is half the fun with eBay. This is the bit where you can really, really challenge yourself to try to come to the right price. I think I'll put it on. I could put it on at auction and start it off at 30 quid, considering I spent 25 plus the postage. You know, we could go down that road, but I think what I will do is start it off at between 100 and 125 and just look at the reaction. Okay, and what I mean by looking at the reaction is how many views it gets, how many watches it gets, and if it sells, I've made £100, which I'm not going to kick myself thinking to myself that I underpriced it. Okay, that would be silly. You know, it's just, you just got to look at the data and react to it accordingly. So that's exactly what I intend to do with these boots. The margin, I think, is there. There is a margin to play with, considering I only spent £25 on the boots and they are in cracking condition. Okay, could be that I lose money on it. It could be that they don't sell for that much at all. It could be that the name, I don't know anything about ski boots. I know Head, I know Solomon. They're the only two real products that I know. However, I have sold ski boots in the past and they normally go for the £25 mark, and they're the ones that are used. So again, looking at my experience of reselling, buying those for 25 because they're brand new, there might be a little bit of markup there. Okay, and the reason why I'm using them for the global shipping program example is I'm pretty sure that there are more ski boots per person sold in other countries compared to those sold per person in the UK. We're not really a ski country. We're not really a snowy country. Yes, there are people that go skiing, but they go off to other countries and ski there. Okay, yes, we've got Aviemore, Scotland. There is some ski centres there, which I think do quite well, but you know, I was also alive in the late 70s, 1980s, when everybody thought that dry ski slopes were absolutely fantastic. They're still used, but they haven't really caught off in the way that I think most people envisaged that they would. My local ski slope in Pontypool in South Wales actually has a tree in the middle of it, and they've put like a bit of padding around the bottom of it. Avoid that at all costs. Whenever I see it and just see this tree with just a bit of padding around it, you know, I'm hoping that most people would have stopped skiing by the time they reached the tree. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I've got. If you're interested, please message me. But yeah, it's been nice talking to you about this. And always keep that global shipping program slider into the on position, into the yes position. You never, ever know. Okay, right. It's been lovely talking to you. As I say, bit of a short video tonight. Look out for In, On and Gone number 20, which will be coming out hopefully either next Sunday evening or Monday. But for the time being, it's been a pleasure. But this is Smithy out. Okay, bye-bye.